The narration commences in Croatia, where Beth, a London-based American and new mother, visits the town for a vacation pre-arranged by her best friend. The taxi she is riding in, driven by Zane, a Syrian taxi driver. Upon arriving, Zane gives her a calling card in case she needs him during her stay. Since the fare has already been taken care of, she gives Zane a tip instead. A while later, she is happily greeted by Kate, her recently divorced closest friend. Since they rarely see each other and have missed each other, Beth gives Kate a necklace she bought online as a present. Despite its simplicity, Kate is grateful and thanks her. While preparing for their errands, Beth video calls her husband Rob and their daughter Aster to check in on them. When Kate arrives, she also greets Rob and her goddaughter. On their way downstairs, they run into Sebastian, the owner of the Airbnb apartment. At dinner, Kate orders the most expensive item on the menu using her ex-husband's credit card. Beth apologizes for not being there when Kate needed someone during the breakup, but she is forgiven, knowing that she had just given birth. However, Beth admits that her marriage to Rob has hit a snag, and she is unsure what to do. Kate suggests leaving Rob if she is not happy anymore. A while later, Beth notices that Kate is on the phone and appears to be very angry while her credit card being rejected, stating that she talks to her ex-husband who blocked her credit card. Meanwhile, Kate suggests continuing the fun elsewhere to have some drinks, and Beth reluctantly agrees. Zane drives them to a club where Beth speaks Arabic, much to Zane's delight. Kate snorts some magic powder before getting out of the taxi. They go partying that night in the club. After ordering their drinks, Kate spots and approaches two hot men, Matteo and Luca, and they start flirting with them. Kate advises Beth to try a one-night stand for excitement, much to Beth's dismay. After giving them a drink, Beth invites the men to continue the party at their house while Kate is seen passed out. The next morning, Beth awakens, fuzzy on the events of the night, and realizes Kate has gone away. She tries to check the entire house, but unfortunately, she can't find any sign of Kate, nor can she reach her by calling. Because of this, she decides to call Rob back home to inform him that Kate is missing. However, he advises her not to waste time waiting for Kate, and to go out and have fun instead. Beth goes to Sebastian to ask about Kate, but he doesn't know anything. As she is about to leave, Sebastian mentions that partying in the apartment is not allowed and that he will charge them extra for the two boys they brought home the night before. After that, she goes to the police station to report what happened to Kate, where she meets Pavic and his superior Kovac, who are equally unconcerned. She can't file a missing persons report because she needs to wait 24 hours. After that, she calls Zane to pick her up and take her to the club where she last saw Kate. Only Zane, the Syrian cab driver who took her to the club, is sympathetic and willing to help. With his assistance, they discover that the men in the club were hired escorts. Every night, they were at the club to prey on tourists. That night, Rob offers to pick Beth up at the airport the next day, but Beth wants to change her flight and insists she can't leave without Kate. Rob offers to come over, but she hesitates, insisting that she is okay. The following morning, Beth calls Zane to inform him that she has found the escorts. Zane sets up a meeting with Matteo and Luca. However, when Matteo and Luca see Beth, they immediately run away. An intense chase ensues, and fortunately, Zane manages to catch Luca. Luca admits that Kate hired them for a good time and also confesses that they took her bag and pawned it. Beth retrieves Kate's Dior bag and phone. Zane suspects that Kate might have drugged Beth to sleep with the escort, but Beth doesn't buy it, believing that Kate wouldn't hurt her. They immediately go to the police station. Zane requests that Beth not mention his name because his visa might get revoked. With this new information, Beth returns to the police, who officially begin an inquiry into Kate's disappearance. She insists that they might have been drugged and that something bad happened to Kate, urging the police to interview those men. However, Pavic starts twisting her statements. Because of this, Kovac decides to dismiss Pavic and talk to Beth alone. Despite this, Kovac asks Beth for details about what happened at the club before she lost consciousness, but she can't remember anything. Because of this, she is tested for drugs and possible assault. Beth phones Kate's ex-husband, Jay, who says he hasn't spoken to her in weeks and dismisses her concerns due to Kate's self-centered and crazy personality, which Beth realizes that Kate lied talking to Jay that night. Sebastian enters her apartment unit to warn her that she needs to check out because new guests are arriving. Since her friend is still missing, she insists on waiting for results before leaving. Because of this, Sebastian offers her his spare room downstairs. That night, she meets with Zane to look for a place to eat. However, Rob also arrives in Croatia. He is introduced to Zane and immediately suspects that there might be a relationship between them. Beth insists that Zane is just a taxi driver. Additionally, he quickly begins to suspect Zane's involvement in Kate's disappearance, which upsets her. While they are discussing Kate's disappearance, Beth receives a call from the police. Shortly afterward, Beth is shocked to see Kate's lifeless body. It is too soon to conclude whether it was an accident or intentional until the autopsy report is completed. That night, Rob can't sleep, insisting that he keeps seeing Kate and regrets not being nicer to her despite finding her annoying. He encourages Beth to go home, but Beth insists on waiting for the results of the autopsy. The following day, Beth wants to see Kate to say goodbye properly in the morgue, and Pavic grants her request. She unlocks Kate's phone with her face before Pavic returns. She searches Kate's phone for answers and discovers text messages between Rob and Kate that imply an affair. Beth is then brought into the police station as the new prime suspect. It is discovered that both Kate and Beth had drugs in their systems, which Beth suspected due to her memory loss and insists she was drugged. The substance did not affect Kate because it contradicted the magic powder she snorted. The police question the two escorts, who have no criminal record and deny giving them illegal substances. The police notice that Beth's statement keeps changing. At the flat, Pavic gives his calling card to Sebastian in case more information is needed and seizes Beth's passport as they continue to probe her. Beth phones Jay and discovers that he knew about Rob and Kate's affair for months. Beth speaks with Zane, suspecting that Kate might have drugged her so she would sleep with someone, allowing Kate to get Rob to leave her. Zane, however, suspects Rob, but Beth dismisses this because he was home with their baby over the weekend. Zane suggests that she never trusts people but only her instincts. He begins to narrate about his late wife, prompting Beth to get emotional. That night, Beth calls Rob, confronting him about having an affair with Kate and sleeping with her for months. She tells him that she found the text messages on Kate's phone. Rob insists that he only did it because they hadn't slept together for years, but Beth insists that it should not be blamed on her. The police arrive and arrest Beth, informing her that Zane has connections to a human trafficking gang, and accusing her of hiring him to murder Kate because of her affair with Rob. Beth insists that she only found out about the affair yesterday. Beth confronts Zane, who claims that he saved the life of a boy. The boy's father had connections with the gang who helped Zane cross the border and secure a visa, but he insists he never worked for them. Beth is reluctant to believe him, and Zane says, "Your heart is your guide." Beth becomes concerned about how the cops knew Rob was having an affair with Kate. She discovers that her room is bugged. While Sebastian is away, Beth sneaks into his private recording studio and discovers that he is surreptitiously recording all of his renters. Looking through the camera, she notices footage of herself being put to bed early the night Kate went missing. The recordings show Kate continuing to party with Matteo and Luca, and also reveal her being robbed by the escorts. In her haste to catch up, Kate accidentally drops a glass and injures herself. Beth quickly writes down the license plate number of a car she sees and then returns in a different vehicle. When Sebastian returns, he confronts Beth, wanting to delete all the videos. During their struggle, Beth accidentally pushes him and manages to escape. She dashes outdoors and unintentionally bumps into Zane. They drive away, with Beth worried that Sebastian might report her to the police, but Zane calms her down, encouraging her to trust him. Together, they visit the taxi business, where they hand over the license number that Beth acquired. Zane comments that the throat, groin and eyes are soft targets, which surprises Beth and gives her ideas for self-defense in the future. Meanwhile, the news reports label Beth as a suspected murderer. When the driver arrives, he is interviewed and claims that Kate directed him to drive her to the two men, and he eventually dropped her off at the station. While out seeking clues, locals spot Zane and Beth, prompting the police to arrest them. When Pavic arrives to arrest Beth, she realizes that it was his automobile that dropped Kate off that night, and she quickly flees. An intense chase ensues between Zane, Beth and the police until they end up in a dead-end corner. There Beth reveals that Pavic owned the car that took Kate home. Zane suggests Beth to call her lawyer and surrenders himself to allow Beth to escape. However, the police spot her and attempt to chase her down. Beth runs with Pavic in pursuit until she reaches a rooftop. There, she is apprehended by Pavic, whom she accuses of killing Kate because she refused his advances. During their struggle, Kovac arrives to intervene, but Pavic jumps off the building's ledge to his death. Later at the police station, Beth learns that Pavic had a history of attacking women but could not be fired due to a lack of evidence. He was merely transferred to tourism department. It is revealed that Pavic was complicit in Kate's disappearance. According to the autopsy report, Pavic struck Kate on the back of the head, and then dropped her into the water while she was still alive. Beth is ultimately ruled innocent, and she expresses her gratitude to Zane for his assistance. Later, while on her way to drop Astor off at Rob's for a visit, Beth receives an SMS from Zane that reads, "See you soon." Rob expresses a desire to reconcile, but she refuses. While searching for her car keys, Beth discovers black onyx beads from the necklace she gave Kate in Rob's coat pocket. Realizing that Rob killed Kate, she rushes to the bathroom and calls Kovacs to inform him about her discovery, but she is interrupted by Rob. Beth confronts him about what he did to Kate, showing him the black onyx beads she found in his pocket. Faced with the evidence, Rob is forced to confess, insisting that what happened was an accident. This deeply disappoints Beth. He explains that he flew to Croatia to prevent Kate from revealing their affair. In flashbacks, we see Rob waiting outside the apartment, surprising Kate. They go for a walk, eventually ending up by the water, where they have a conversation. Rob is willing to leave Beth for Kate. However, Kate describes the affair as the worst mistake of her life and intended to tell Beth. Rob tells Beth that it was the other way around, confessing that he grew upset and angry with Kate, ultimately hitting her and forcing her into the water. Beth, however, doesn't believe him, knowing that the autopsy report indicates Kate was drowned. Realizing that Kate brought her to Croatia to remind her of who she was before Rob and that she deserved better, Beth prepares to leave. Rob pleads with her not to report him to the police. Unbeknownst to him, Beth's phone is connected to Kovacs, who informs her that the police are on their way. When Rob tries to stop her, Beth uses the self-defense technique that Zane taught her. With the police having recorded his confession, local officers are dispatched to the house. Beth flees with her baby as Rob is taken into custody. For more videos similar to this, don't forget to subscribe and enable notifications. Thank you for watching.